Here we want to look at how we represent complex numbers geometrically or graphically. And we're going to use what we call the Argand diagram. So the Argand diagram is pretty much the same as a Cartesian plane, except we're going to use this to plot complex numbers. So what we're looking at is a number plane as such, but it's called the Argand diagram. And the real part here is plotted according to the x-axis or the horizontal axis. So if we equate it with the Cartesian plane, it'd be the same. Real axis is the same as the x-axis, and the imaginary part of the complex number is going to be plotted along the y-axis or the vertical axis. So we can see the complex numbers here. So, for example, 5 plus 4i here, we've gone across 5 and up 4. So 3 minus I here, we've gone across 3 and down I, or down 1, which corresponds to I. So minus 1 plus minus 3i, so we have minus 1, but we've got plus minus 3i here to give us this point. And then the minus 2 plus I, so we've gone across horizontally 2 and up 1 to give us the I. So that's how we start to plot points on the Argand diagram. So let's have a look at some more examples here. So we're going to start off with the plotting of I, which is going to be at that point there. So we can see that we're not having any real part, and the imaginary part's just going to be that. So if we're looking at minus I, that's going to be going down 1 unit there. So because there's no real part again, so we're just going down and doing the imaginary part. So anything that's purely imaginary will be along the imaginary axis, along the axis here. 2 plus I, so we go across 2 and then up 1, so it gives us 2 plus I there. Write that in, 2 plus I. And then 3 minus 4i, so we go across the 3 and down 4. This gives us the point 3 minus 4i. Then we have 2 minus I, so again we're going across the 2 but down 1 this point, so that would be 2 minus I. And then we've got minus 4 plus 3i, so we go across the minus 4 and up 3. So this gives us the point minus 4 plus 3i. So it's you can see it's very similar to working with a Cartesian plane, except we're dealing with a real axis and an imaginary axis and plotting the points there. So something we should try and look at now is what do you notice about the conjugates 2 plus I and 2 minus I? So if we have a look at the 2 points here, we might recognize that, well, they look very similar, and they're across from each other here, which means they've got the same real part and they've just differed by their imaginary parts, but also makes them reflections in that x-axis, and that's what we're looking for here. So they're a reflection in the real axis. So because the real parts are the same, they'll be along that line there, but imaginary parts making on the same distance from the real axis. So when you see conjugates, you can take note that the conjugates there, when we do graph them, are going to be on that opposite side of the axis.